It was a summer day in 1941. The circus had just arrived in the tiny town of Brookfield, New York. Spectators flocked to see the wire walkers, the tramp clowns, if they were lucky, the human cannonball. They also came to see the strongman, Johnny Bull Walker, a brawny bully who'd pin you for $1. Now, on that particular day, a voice rang out over the circus PA system. They needed a doctor urgently in the live animal tent. Something had gone wrong with the lion tamer. The climax of his act had gone wrong, and his head was stuck inside the lion's mouth. He was running out of air. The crowd watched in horror as he struggled and then passed out. When the lion finally did relax its jaws, the lion tamer just slumped to the ground, motionless. When he came to a few minutes later, he saw a familiar figure hunched over him. It was Bull Walker. The strong man had given the lion tamer mouth to mouth and saved his life. Now, the strong man hadn't told anyone, but he was actually a third-year medical student. He toured with the circus during summers to pay tuition, but kept it a secret to protect his persona. He was supposed to be a brute, a villain, not a nerdy do-gooder. His medical colleagues didn't know his secret either. As he put it, if you were an athlete, you were a dumb dodo. So he didn't tell them about the circus or about how he wrestled professionally on evenings and weekends. He used a pseudonym like Bull Walker or later the Masked Marvel. He even kept it a secret that same year when he was crowned the light heavyweight champion of the world. Over the years, John J. Bonica lived these parallel lives. He was a wrestler, he was a doctor. He was a heel, he was a hero. He inflicted pain, and he treated it. Right around D-Day, Bonica showed up to Madigan Army Medical Center near Tacoma. At 7,700 beds, it was one of the largest Army hospitals in America. Bonica was in charge of all pain control there. He was only 27. Treating so many patients, Bonica started noticing cases that contradicted everything he had learned. Pain was supposed to be a kind of alarm bell, in a good way, a body's way of signaling an injury, like a broken arm. But in some cases, like after a patient had a leg amputated, that patient might still complain of pain in that non-existent leg. But if the injury had been treated, why would the alarm bell keep ringing? There were other cases in which there was no evidence of an injury whatsoever, and yet still the patient hurt. Bonica tracked down all the specialists at his hospital, surgeons, neurologists, psychiatrists, others, and he tried to get their opinions on his patients. It took too long, so he started organizing group meetings over lunch. It would be like a tag team of specialists going up against the patient's pain. No one had ever focused on pain this way before. After that, he hit the books. He read every medical textbook he could get his hands on, carefully noting every mention of the word pain. Out of the 14,000 pages he read, the word pain was on 17 and a half of them. 17 and a half for the most basic, most common, most frustrating part of being a patient. So over the next 8 years, Bonica would talk about it. He'd write about it. He'd write those missing pages. He wrote what would later be known as the Bible of pain. In it, he proposed new strategies, new treatments using nerve block injections. He proposed a new institution, the pain clinic, based on those lunchtime meetings. But the most important thing about his book was that it was a kind of emotional alarm bell for medicine, a desperate plea to doctors to take pain seriously in patients' lives. He recast the very purpose of medicine. The goal wasn't to make patients better. It was to make patients feel better. He pushed his pain agenda for decades before it finally took hold in the mid-70s. Hundreds of pain clinics sprung up all over the world. But as they did, a tragic twist. Bonika's years of wrestling caught up to him. He had been out of the ring for over 20 years, but those 1,500 professional bouts had left a mark on his body. Still in his mid-50s, he suffered severe osteoarthritis. Over the next 20 years, he'd have 22 surgeries, including 4 spine operations and hip replacement after hip replacement. He could barely raise his arm, turn his neck. He needed aluminum crutches to walk. His friends and former students became his doctors. One recalled that he probably had more nerve block injections than anyone else on the planet. Bonica saw pain close up. He felt it. He lived it. And it made it impossible for him to ignore in others. Out of that empathy, he spun a whole new field, played a major role in getting medicine to acknowledge pain in and of itself. Thank you.